Alright, so I'm here at Superbooth with John from Wonkystuff, also known as Namke on the forum and on various other Bandcamp.
Too many IDs.
Too many IDs, yes. But John is here to present his new modules.
Okay, so this first set is some new micro modules along with a full-size module. So this is something I've been thinking about for probably 3 years, and I figured last year I better just get on and make it and see if it works. So everyone's aware of the master module, the MIDI input. So we have a regular TRS 5-pin DIN connection, and what this module does is breaks out all of the individual MIDI channels to the 16 MIDI channels. So you send something on MIDI channel 1, it comes out of output 1. Send something on MIDI 2, it's channel 2. Now, the difference between this and what the master module does, for example, is this is actually still MIDI data. So it's not a CV, and so you can't just plug this straight into an oscillator. However, because it's still MIDI data, this one wire can carry polyphonic information, so you can hold a chord. Not in this demo, unfortunately, so sorry. If you want to change the MIDI channel that you're listening to, then you simply unpatch and repatch it into the channel that you want to listen on. Also on here you've got the clock signals are broken out, so you can use a sync pulse from your drum machine or your sequencer. So 3 modules are here. We have at the top there's a MIDI controlled oscillator, which is MCO, and that has audio output, a gate output, so that's high when you hold a key down, and it goes down when you release the key, and a trigger which is re-triggered every time you press a new key. The next one down is the MCC, which is a MIDI control C, or it's MIDI CC, so MIDI continuous controllers, and it maps 4 of these to individual CV outs. By default, this is the bottom one is pitch bend, then there's mod, there's breath controller, and then there's whatever MIDI CC3 is. And then at the bottom, further to the bottom, is a MTR, which is the MIDI to trigger module. I can't see, I've got my glasses on because I'm so vain. And that maps individual notes onto 8 trigger outs. So these are actually gate outputs. So I need to find out what it's mapped to. That'll be a next demo. But so you can map the. In fact, I can do this now. So now, you see the light flashing. So there's 8 individual trigger outs, and if you want to remap it to a different note, short press that, and you're done. Now it's a different range. So if you wanted to, you could put 3 of these in one unit and have 24 triggers. I don't know, maybe you have some micro drums you want to trigger. So as you've probably just heard, so I have an iPad app which is modelled after one of the Moog modular synthesizers. I'm using this because it has a keyboard. It also has controllers which map to MIDI controllers. So what we have here is the MIDI controlled oscillator. That's what this is really a demo of, and 1 channel of the MCC. So you press a key and it's a standard voice. Put it through an MS-20 filter, all kind of regular stuff that you would see. So you can hear the filter sweep here. So this is there's a 2-end, of course. These are all these grey ones are obviously standard A modular. So the only new ones are these blue. So I have the amplitude, the VCA triggered from the gate, so it holds open. but I'm triggering the envelope for the filter from the trigger. So I can hold that note down, and you can hear the kind of, you know, standard things, and you can hold down I think it's 8 notes at the moment, and it remembers the last pressed. So what I've also done is mapped the mod wheel on here to be the filter cutoff. So that's quite nice.
But this is going through the MCC module then?
Yeah, so the mod wheel is coming out of MCC.
Yep.
Of course, so if you're playing with some other modules, you might want to adjust the tune, so you could, that's why there's a control on this, or you might stack them up to make, you might have 2 MCOs a fifth apart or something like that.
What type of is that, a sawtooth? Or?
It's actually, there's a sawtooth, there's a square, there's a sub-oscillator, and also a square up, an octave. And these levels are mapped to the some MIDI controllers. In fact, and there's PWM on the square. It's quite nice being able to play with that. In the next version of the firmware, I'll probably have a button on here so you can store combinations, and then you could recall them with a MIDI program change, for example.
And these control changes that you did there with the knobs,
yes,
they go straight into this module, so they're not going via the CC module at all.
No, that's all internal. The actual changes to the voice. So if I unplugged these, obviously the mod doesn't work anymore, but
wow.
And, yeah, pitch bend as well.
So it is really completely a MIDI chain coming through this.
So if I said, well, that's listening to channel 1 at the moment, so I say, okay, I want to listen to channel 6, to change my settings, MIDI, channel 6. Now on channel 6. So obviously, you can drive your 16 MIDI channels separately, so you could have multi-part things happening. So it's quite nice. I think.
This is really cool. So are you planning more of those micro modules that understand MIDI?
Yes. I need to evolve the designs of some of the things, and some of the chats I've had with Robert about some refinements that would be they're worth going to be worth playing with, I think. I need to. So here's good old. So let's just do a quick repatch. Might need to mute this when you do the edit. Oh. Good old self-oscillating BD55.
Yeah, Matt loves that one.
So now it's I know what I should have patched that through the mixer.
So now you're basically playing that kick drum with the keyboard, because coming from the MTR8.
Yeah. So actually, what I should do, let's be sensible about that. Let's turn that on A, because so this is where I mapped the root. This is now 0. If I said mapped number 1 to the RS55, the new RS55, output that into A4, so that's still there. Now you've got this. That's a bit. Kind of thing. And of course it comes to life when you have a grid sequencer. You can program proper drum patterns.
Amazing. So just quickly about your MIDI setup here. So you're using the iPad.
Yes.
And how do you get the iPad MIDI into your module here with
so we have
TOS?
Let's try and repatch this as well. So I've got the standard USB MIDI adapter from Apple into the RetroKit's RK006, which is a nice 2-in 10 out MIDI interface, and then through a regular the adapters that come with it into here. So you could plug this into the master module and it would work exactly the same.
Wow.
But the master module is listening to one channel. So some of these drum modules are new since last Superbooth. Last one I only had the kick drum. The RS55 arrived whilst I was here, so I didn't have to show it. So that's there, and then classic 808.
Some good cowbell.
Kind of thing. So that's it, maybe. Yeah. I think that's about it.
All right. This is really cool. So when do you think will those modules be available on your shop?
I'm doing a revision of the drum modules are still already available.
Sure.
There's a hi-hat as well, modelled after the DR110 hi-hat, open closed hi-hat. The MIDI ones I need a little bit more time to develop, but yeah, later in the year, probably 2 months or something like that, maybe.
Okay.
And something I'm going to be, hopefully will be good for the European customers, who I have been, unfortunately, because of shipping and VAT and things like this, that's been a real pain to sell to Europe since whatever. I'm just investigating another way of doing this so that the VAT is known up front and you don't get these hidden charges on delivery. So stay tuned, I'll make an announcement in the forum when when that happens. Because I really want, the European guys are really, really important. It's like the bulk of the market, really, I think.
Yeah, okay. Look, thank you so much, John, for showing me these new modules. I'm talking for the wider modular community, and I think this is an amazing development actually, with MIDI. So MIDI going through these little cables. So you really have to be really careful of understanding that this is now a MIDI cable and not a control voltage cable.
Yeah.